The Red Summer by Alec Villanueva. What exactly was the Red Summer? In the year 1919, there was an outbreak of racial violence in the United States. It was an epidemic that was motivated by white supremacy, and it affected over 30 cities across the country. Hundreds of African American individuals were killed and injured. It is one of the most devastating things that has occurred in our history, with tens of deadly riots breaking out. This is a map of occurrences across the country. Causes of the Red Summer. Number 1. The return of African Americans from World War I. The Red Summer had more than one motive behind it. One of those being the fact that many African Americans had just served their country in World War I. Even though they fought hard in honor of the United States, when they returned, they were not treated as such. They still faced discrimination and were seen as less than a white citizen. They were still segregated in aspects like getting jobs and schooling, and many of them faced poverty as well. Another reason why these tensions grew was the fact that many African Americans were fleeing the South and migrating to different parts of the country, parts that were not particularly African populated. Many of them fled the South because they feared discrimination and sought after more opportunities in the North and the West. My final reasoning for the Red Summer occurrence, most important in my opinion, was the rise of the KKK, or the Ku Klux Klan. The KKK was a white supremacist group that was behind many riots that took place during this time period. Examples of Red Summer violence. The Elaine Massacre in Elaine, Arkansas, where white mobs killed over 100 African Americans. The Chicago Race Riot, where over 30 people were killed and hundreds more were injured. The Washington, D.C. Race Riot, where white mobs attacked African Americans in the street and destroyed businesses. Now here's a few newspaper articles that displayed the occurrences across the country. Impact of the Red Summer. I believe that the Red Summer was very important in many ways, but most notably, it showed how little the country had truly progressed. Yes, slavery was abolished, but blacks were still treated like less than humans. The Red Summer shows this. There were people burned, shot, and hung because of the color of their skin. This occurrence showed us that Americans were still divided, and reform needed to happen. Perspectives on the Red Summer. Number 1, Booker T. Washington, which was a leading African American educator and activist during this time period. He believed that African Americans should focus on economic advancement rather than civil rights. Booker was very critical of the Red Summer and urged African Americans to remain calm. W.E. Du Bois was another African American activist and educator. He believed that African Americans should fight for their rights, and he was outraged by the Red Summer occurrences and called for African Americans to defend themselves. Marcus Garvey, who was another activist at the time, encouraged that African Americans appeal to his ideologies and return to Africa because the Red Summer showed that equality could never be achieved in the United States.